Future Proof is sponsored by Learn Smart Academy, online revision courses for GCSE and A-Level. All your revision in one place, organised for you, interactive and game-changing.
Welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah Hotwood, as I continue this programme looking at the all-important customer service, how to provide excellent, outstanding exemplary customer service. And I was saying at the beginning of the programme that this sits in the product surround area, not so much about your core product, but it's all about the customer service and the customer surround, which is all the relationship stuff. And remember, people buy emotion, people buy people. It's those things you've heard before, and that is why customer service is so very, very important. And just going into the break, I was talking about Pareto and the 80-20 rule. And once you've gone divergent, the first phase of problem solving, then you can then Pareto some of those ideas. The 80-20 rule, just choose 20% of those ideas to work on, your favourites, and get the room or the board or your workforce to choose their favourites. And then if you work on those, that 20%, you'll have an 80% impact on what you're striving to do. And the other thing we need to do is we need to identify and know who our customers are. Where are they in the world? Where's their feeding ground? If we wanted to go and find them, where would we find them? Are they, it could be anything from lifestyle. What magazines do they read? What sort of holidays do they go on? It could be that they're really into fitness or what have you as part of their culture. And so therefore you can go and find them if you like. And the question is, where is their watering hole? And once you know where their watering hole is, you can then go into their space, but it also helps you focus and target your marketing and identify what's important to them. So also target your customer service so that what you are saying resonates with them, which then is all part of that buying process, because people buy people. So there are 4 basic human universal needs. The customers need to be understood. They need to feel welcome, they need to feel important, and they need to feel comfortable. And with all of this, you've got to think in your minds, how can I provide this? And a very, very good way of looking at this box is thinking of Howard Gardner's 8 intelligences. And if you think of them as intelligences, then think that all of your customers will have one or combinations or even all of these. And if you are able to resonate with them in these spaces, they are more likely to buy from you. So what are the 8 intelligences? The first one is linguistic. These are people who can almost spot a spelling mistake before opening an email. I've said that many times. They can look at a paragraph and see that grammatically it's wrong, even though they may not know exactly why. So when they are reading all your stuff and looking at anything that you have committed to paper, remember, some people will not buy you if that doesn't look right. Another one, numerical. People who they think in lines and columns, they're logical. They don't like too much fluff and surround stuff. Direct questions, direct answers. Give me the facts. They also want to test those facts and the sources of the facts. So who said it? When was the test done? They're very into those details. Interpersonal, these are people who like relationships and the nice friendly email and the hellos and the coffees and all that kind of stuff. Intrapersonal, there's nothing more that will impress an intrapersonal person to say, we're really sorry we got it wrong, but please know we're going to do everything we can to put it right. And what would you like to see? What's that look like to you? I don't know what it is, but people who are self-smart is of high intelligence, and they'll love you for it, and they'll be your advocates if you hold your values strong there. Kinesthetic, that's the physical side of stuff and the ability to be able to move physically freely around, whether that's kind of the football pitch stuff or even creativity if you like. Aesthetics, that's musical and cultural, to have evidence of, that's why in selling often you'll have background music, and it's a choice of that. And then you've got the moral and the spiritual, and there's nothing better than for somebody, and this is the feeling safe, I think, and feeling comfortable, to be able to identify the values of a business and watch that business live to those values, not put the values down just because they look good, and then, you know, for a customer to see that actually you're abusing every attribute that you say that you stand by, you're abusing all those values, and they'll walk off and tell other people too. And spiritual is just that we're all spiritual human beings, and there is, the word that's come to me is actually a kindness and empathy. So this is emotionally intelligent thinking, of course, as well. So customers need this. So how can we upset our customers? And how can we counter that? Well, of course, the sins are apathy, a brush off, coldness, condescension, robotic behaviour, inflexibility, and making them run around. Oh yes, if you want to buy from me, then fine, but you've got to do this, then you've got to do that, then you've got to do this. They don't want a to-do list. You know, they're expecting, if you like, you to be doing all those to-dos. So you can counter it with enthusiasm, reassurance, warmth and friendliness. So this is all this is all products around, this is all relational. Respect, enthusiastic behaviour. You know, never get on an aeroplane with a depressed pilot. Would you buy from a depressed shopkeeper? You know, I've walked into places, hello, you know, and they don't want to be there. And it really can put you off purchasing. And if you do have to purchase, you only buy the bare essentials. Where, of course, as a sales force, you've been trained to cross-sell, upsell, and all those other things that can impact on your bottom line. And people taking responsibility. Sorry, I'm having difficulty. I know I said I'd get back to you today, but can I tell you, I will be back to you by close of business tomorrow. Don't just leave them hanging thinking, I can't tell them anything, I'll just wait till tomorrow. No, if you've said you're going to do something, then at least give them an update, even if you can't fulfill your promise. So customer needs, I want to talk about the active listening, and just be careful about interrupting. Do be careful about being too emotional and too enthusiastic. I've sometimes fallen into that category. So, you know, put my hand up on that. When communication goes wrong, it can often be because people have started in the middle of a sentence or started in the middle of an issue without starting at the beginning or giving clarity or giving an overview of the situation so far, and I just need to now give you an update. So it really can cause issues. And just not understanding, you know, be careful that we don't jump to conclusions when we're listening, particularly if you're hearing a familiar complaint. Sometimes we just go into automatic listening, and it could be that the person has got a slightly different take on it, and we're just making huge assumptions about what's wrong. Here we go again, and your auto response, and we're not listening properly. I just want to now, just to conclude this programme, and I'm going to be picking it up again in programme number 2, talking about a fantastic tool called the 5 Whys. And this really gets down to the core of any problem. If you have an issue that is not being resolved either internally or externally, then number one, anybody who is relating to your business usually picks up that there's issues. And again, I mentioned it in the first half, please don't forget suppliers. Suppliers very often can be like flies on the wall. They're around, they don't really need to talk to you much because they're delivering or whatever, but they know what's going on, and they are also probably delivering to your competitors, delivering to people who live and work around you, and they will speak about you given the opportunity. So be very careful when you are having problems, and a good way to sort out solving a problem is to find the core reason why. And 9 times out of 10, the initial overview or investigation on a problem, we don't come out with the core problem, we come out with the symptoms of a problem. So how do you find what the real problem is? You ask why 5 times. Why, for example, have we got 5 customers complaining about the same thing? Why are they complaining? So let's arguably say, well, they all seem to live, I don't know, I live in Shoreham, so they all seem to live in Shoreham. Why is that a problem? We seem to have the same driver that goes out that way. Why has the driver got a problem? Well, he is the one driving the oldest van out the fleet. Why is he driving the oldest van out the fleet? Because we don't have a budget to replace it at the moment. Why don't we have a budget to replace it at the moment? Well, we need to ask ourselves that because we are losing business on the back of the bad outcomes from a dilapidated lorry that's causing problems geographically in an area, and if we don't sort it out, then we are going to lose business in that whole area. So the problem hasn't come from, for example, a grumpy driver or that kind of stuff. The problem is because the tools that he's been given are not fit for purpose. Sort out the tools, the driver will be happier, there'll be fewer mistakes, there'll be happier customers who will spread the word, and then what was a problem is not a problem, and now it's turned into a success story, and everybody says, why don't you try them again? It's now brilliant. So 5 Whys is fantastic. I hope you can join me for another programme, but do search them on YouTube if you miss any.